Lamya Kaddor is a frequent guest on German talk shows. She is the leader of the Liberal Muslim Alliance, the Liberal-Muslimischer Bund. And she also happens to be an Arab whose parents came from Syria. One result of her report that I will dive in a moment is that I must not call her an Arab, because that is discriminatory, and all the problems that exist in the Muslim community are a result of discrimination, like me calling Ms. Kaddor a Muslim, who she is. Now she had received funds from the government, from the Center of Political Education, Bundeszentrale für politische Bildung. And this center's job is to raise us into a democratic citizenry, and they do it by education. This does not just sound like China or the Soviet Union. I think the entire mindset behind it is that a man is formed, in a communist image. Germans believe that education should be basically beyond the schooling age, and that it is the government's job, and obviously our journalists also believe that it's the media's job to nanny us for our entire lives. So there is this Federal Center for Political Studies, and they rain down money on a lot of different projects, and Ms. Kaddor received funds from them for this particular one, in which she tackled the issue of anti-Semitism in her school. She used to be a teacher. I think she had stopped teaching some while ago. She may have resumed her activity, but I have not followed that closely. And her project is to eliminate how Muslims in German schools come in touch with anti-Semitism, or what constitutes their anti-Semitism, and so forth. For that, they have conducted interviews, not many, I believe just 8 interviews, and I must say, I have not quite understood the entire report. There were 10 Muslim pupils and a control group of another 10 youngsters, plus they conducted interviews with experts. And I do not know how these 8 interviews are mapped across all these people involved. So in any event, they did some research, and it's 178 pages, and I have no idea how they conducted the study in its entirety, and I won't read all these pages because, quite frankly, I don't believe that out of 10 people as the pool of research, you get any verifiable results. But in any event, the report is interesting in the sense that it gives more meat to my suspicion that we have this kind of transcendent Marxism in Germany. We do not recognize that things are Marxist, even though our very mindset is formed in that mold. For example, she was researching anti-Semitism, but she defines it in her report as hostility towards mankind, Menschenfeindlichkeit. And I have mentioned in the previous video that this is how the Marxists claim here all their opponents are, meaning that everybody who disagrees with them is not just hostile to a policy, or does not just dislike a policy and maybe members of the government like Angela Merkel, but also that people just hate mankind in general, and that hating one group or the other group is the result of people just hating all human beings and then dumping it on one group or the other. The reason is Marxist materialism, the historic materialism idea that all our thoughts follow from our financial status. There's a German phrase, a quote from Karl Marx that exemplifies this. Das Sein bestimmt das Bewusstsein, the being determines your conscience. And this hostility towards all human beings usually results from poverty. And they claim that, for example, East German disapproval of Angela Merkel is the result of the economic problems in that area, and if they had money they would be nice and cuddly again, and the problem could not be with Angela Merkel, of course. So the reason really is to be found in materialism, and this is a pure Marx theory. Kaddor is quite interesting in herself because it is not really clear why she raised such a prominence. She is very often on TV shows. She has no doctor. She is just a diploma Islam scientist. And you can also get German conservatives behind the idea that, for example, we must train the imams here through government institutions like government universities, because if they come just from Turkey, they can say whatever possible, and also including anti-Semitic stuff, and to get them into the re-education camp or university departments. We must talk now a lot about the anti-Semitism, but what it's really about is to get the control over what is being said and studied in mosques. The entire conflict really is not between Muslims and non-Muslims. It is really about the instrumentalization of Islam against everybody else. And of course, mosques are a very effective center of teaching in the Muslim community. And if our government takes control of the education of these imams, they can basically instill ideas in them that will also go unnoticed. As I've said, Marxism is not spelled out directly here in this country. Public school teachers in America will open up the Capital, the manifesto, and so on, and will quote Marx directly. But Germans, even though they could read the text in the original, are the least likely to detect Marxist ideology. And it is permeating everything else. It is a layer on every intellectual topic in this country. And what they try to do is to bring Marxist ideology into the mosque, and from there to spread it into the community. Of course, it is self-contradictory. If they would believe their own stuff, they would notice that Muslims would be perfect people anyway if they had enough money. And of course, they are saying this when you criticize Muslims, and it's just about poverty and so on and so on. But they are also, when it's not, in the defense of Muslims, then they believe in agitation. Then they do not believe that the conscience just follows the being, the financial being. They actually do believe that they must really care about your conscience through indoctrination, agitation, and education. So that was it for today, and see you soon. Bye.